We here for the latest. South side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Ganty, so the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? This is Pinwheels and Ivy. This is the portion of the show where we do the retweets. And it looks like Aldo is way ahead of me this time. So that's awesome. Did you? Yep. Okay. All right. Well, we did all that. So you guys ready? Who cares? Go Bears. That's the spirit, Frank. I love 6-win teams. All right. Although I think you're on mute.
Ouch.
Damn it.
You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, September 9th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Swaski, a.k.a. Southside Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe, a.k.a. Dylan Cease Predictor. And with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
I know last week's show I started talking some shit against Beefloaf and Sox fans, talking about Patrick Wisdom. I want to apologize. I've been wrong this entire time because Patrick Wisdom isn't better than Jose Abreu. Frank Swindell is.
He has been on fire. We're going to get to it. And the good Reverend K. Fids.
I mean, honestly, the fact that we're able to say that the Cubs are one of the hottest teams in baseball right now in September, meaningful September baseball is really it's a treat. It's a treat.
I mean, it's been fun watching the diehard, if you will, Cubs fans trying to eat the shit that is this season and call it gourmet.
Oh, lathering it up.
Yeah. But I appreciate it. Like, I think that's good. I mean, that's where you really kind of.
Ian Happ today officially got over 100 WRC plus.
Above league average, baby.
He is an average major league hitter after being one of the worst hitters in baseball for the first till everything blew up.
Somebody tweeted the people he's buying WRC plus, and there's some big names on there, and someone responded like, "These guys are all bad. What's the? They're all below league average. What's the brag here? I don't get it." That was like yesterday. So, but before we get ahead of ourselves. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Cubs. We're going to talk about the White Sox, what we think the playoff roster is going to look like, go over, the road ahead for the White Sox. And we'll probably even touch on how our Cubs ticket's still expensive because Fids might have brought that up a couple times. So all that and just, general tomfoolery. So let's tap this keg. As always, this show is brought to you by us, guys. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the big thing right now. Really need you guys to start hitting up that subscribe button. You can find a link to support the show pinned to the top of the Twitter account at PinwheelsIvyPod. And we do have some merch still floating around out there. We haven't tweeted out the merch in a long time. We should tweet that out. I need a hoodie. But, yeah, go buy some shit. I should be a salesman. Go buy some shit. Let's start with Swindell, though. I want to start with this guy.
Okay.
Did you guys see this? I know, but I wanted to take a step back because it was just like, no one saw this coming, right? Like,
we did talk about when they picked him up, he was playing for the Las Vegas Aviators on a team that had a ridiculous, 1 through 5 in the order, and all of their OPS numbers were off the charts. But it was, at the time, mostly thought of as, oh, well, he's like the fourth or fifth best guy on a juiced ball roster. Maybe that's what it was. But it turns out that maybe it was just a really good AAA roster, and he's a real deal. He got maybe diamond in the rough. He was up, and then I think Moreland came back from the DL, and they had no choice because he was a first-round pick for the Royals back in the day too. He's had options. Mm-hmm. And the Cubs just grabbed some trash there, and it turned out it wasn't trash at all. It was sweet.
Do you guys remember when the Cubs picked him up?
I do. I mean, yeah, I watched them
No,
play.
but like, do you remember? Like, when was it? Because I swear, I think it was one of the
It was
weeks
like
when I missed the show.
Mid-July, because it was like I think we were like, oh, first baseman, and before that was before the Jock trade.
Okay, because I just remember the first time he was even in the lineup. I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
Right. I didn't.
Well, he
even learn
has
how
like an
to,
old man name.
yeah, I didn't even learn how to say his name till like 2 days ago. Like, didn't even attempt to try to say his name. I should.
I mean, his numbers are. Again, it's been like a month, but 34 games heading into Wednesday night. 34 games, 127 at bats. He slashed in 362, 409 with a 677 slugging percentage, 10 home runs, 30 runs batted in, 8 doubles, a triple.
I can't get away from this guy. Like, anytime I go on Twitter now, like I said, Cubs fans are grasping onto, the positives that they can this season, which, again, I'm not knocking it. It's not their fault that everyone got traded away, but this Frank Swindell stuff, and then Ian Happ's coming around. But I guess
at the same time, Patrick Wisdom is on the opposite end of that. I think he has like 2 hits in the month of September.
Patrick Wisdom's his series against the White Sox was just his last hurrah for me personally. Yeah. He did that for me.
That Saturday. It was a Saturday because that Sunday was when it kicked off. I mean, he's like 2 for like 28 right now in his last.
Patrick Wisdom is the guy that I thought he was like, it was the high strikeout guy, and yeah, he can hit mistakes, but once pitchers stop just throwing him meatballs, he's gonna struggle.
Swindell has an interesting history though, because he was with the A's, but he was actually the Royals' like top prospect for a bit, and he got a slight cup of coffee back in 2019. Then the shutdown. Then obviously he's with the Las Vegas Aviators here in Vegas, which is a great place to hit, by the way, just because desert air and all that fun stuff. So it looks great, juice balls, whatever. And he did really well here. Gets called up for a brief cup of coffee, plays 8 games, hits 1 bomb of a home run. It was actually a really nice a bomb of a homer then, but only hit 150. And he struggled a little bit. And so they, Moreland came back. They were like, whatever. All right, well, this guy, so it's worth sending back down and not, whatever. He'll probably go through waivers, get 150. And then he's got a 186 OPS plus since joining the Cubs. I mean, that's.
Yeah, and so all this Cubs stuff has been great. Like, it's good to see Cubs fans actually, not be on suicide watch for a while.
They were just fun. Like the past week was just like fun after like a month and a half.
Heroics.
After it was like a month of just, they had that 12-game losing streak again, or 11-game losing streak. They were getting just blown out. It seemed like every other day. The offense wasn't even like I could if I obviously realized talent levels down. If they're gonna lose, they lose, but at least entertain me. Those games for a month after the trade deadline were brutal, and then September hit, and I don't know. I know what happened. They started to face worse teams,
right?
So that's why they went on the win streak. But hey, at least we got that 1 week.
And it's been just nice enough to have something positive to only have this weekend. The wound reopened a little bit when Chris Bryant returns to Wrigley Field for the first time since the trade.
Oh, I didn't know that was this weekend.
So that's this weekend. So that should be a weekend of media twisting things that he says, people getting upset about it on Twitter, thinking that he's trying to shoot shots at somebody else and take digs when it really that's not even in his train of thought. He's just answering whatever questions, and that should be fun. So I'm looking forward to a Gordon Wittenmeyer clickbait headline and a. Someone getting upset on Twitter saying that KB said that the Cubs fans suck or something because he said that he liked hot dogs.
Before we get off of like Swindell and these guys, I want to ask both of you from Cubs fan perspective, and then Zoe just looking on the outside. So out of the 3 guys who've really contributed here in the second half or all season since they've come up, Patrick Wisdom, Frank Swindell, and then Rafael Ortega. Mm-hmm. Out of those 3 guys, who do you think is for real? If any.
I honestly don't think that Swindell. I don't think that he's not. I think he is for real. I think that he's been a guy that's been trapped in an organization that had plenty of dudes at that spot too ahead of him, and the Royal stuff. He had a season where he didn't play at all, and so this is a guy that you can almost take that year of development out, take a year off of his career, bring him back to that development stage. And he's actually a year younger baseball wise than his regular age dictates. And I think what he does, his approach. He's not Patrick Wisdom, which Patrick Wisdom is pulling baseballs. He might walk into one the other way on occasion, but his red hot zone, when you look at his graph or whatever, when you're looking at his grid, his red hot zone is exactly where you'd assume someone down and in. And when you look at Swindell, what he's been doing, there isn't a gaping hole. He's hitting the ball the other way. He's punching ground balls right side. And that's something that's different, which tells me that he's seeing what he needs to see, and he's actually hitting the baseball with an approach. And that tells me that, having an approach gives you staying power in this league. If you have an approach, which means you have to adapt your approach, you got to change your approach. When other people, when other pitchers and opponents figure out your approach, then you got to, again, evolve. But the approach and the process is what makes a professional hitter professional and with staying power. And that's what I like about him. Wisdom, you can look at his chart and you know that if you miss up or if you work up under his hands, he's done. He's gotcha. And Ian Happ, same thing. I mean, getting excited about that, but from the left side, how's it going from the right side? Like, these are things that you gotta think about in the long term. Great for Ian Happ when the pressure was off, but where was he? Honestly, if Ian Happ is like this earlier in the season, I don't think the Cubs sell. I think that it's a completely different lineup with him performing like this, but it's, you almost say too little too late, but I think we're here getting to this point where Ian Happ may have some trade value in the offseason as well. Just like the Kyle Schwarber, peak moment, when Schwarber peaked in the Cubs with his
That's
career.
the thing. Ian Happ's best trade value, and I thought they were going to do it, was right after his rookie year. For the longest time, that was the guy. And I remember specifically the trade. I think that was the offseason that the Brewers traded for Christian Yelich. Mm-hmm. And I think the Cubs were kind of rumored to be maybe asking, talking with the Marlins maybe. And I was just add Happ in there. Yeah, he just came off a 24 home run season from the beginning. And credit to him, he's worked himself to be at least an average center fielder. And for his career, I mean, we look at the numbers, he's been at a 110, 111, above average major league hitter.
And he's battled through a lot of adversity too. Getting set down stuff and a lot of the stuff that happened early in his career too.
And that was the thing though. From the beginning, Ian Happ was always he came up as an infielder, second baseman. Cubs tried it. He wasn't good. It came to a point where the Cubs had a whole bunch of injuries and they still didn't trust Ian Happ at second base. They're no, please stop. But I really did think after 2017 or even after 2018, his numbers came down, but he was still pretty good for what he was valued at the time. I was this is the guy you trade, and they just never did.
Isn't it funny that he's kind of gotten hot since what would have been the start of the 2020 season? Midsummer, all of a sudden he starts waking up around late July.
This is three straight years for him, because when he came up, because he started 2019 at AAA, he didn't come up until middle of July, and he was fantastic for the last 2.5 months. Same thing last year. The first month he was fantastic, and then now this past month he has a 200 WRC plus since August 3rd or something.
That's got to be some sort of value in a trade, especially if your Cubs aren't contending. Look, this guy is a finisher. The last 3 seasons, look what he's done down the stretch. Get this guy, and I think that might change kind of how you look at what his value is too, because he is finishing well. What is it at the beginning? What's the deal early on? I mean,
you want Ian Happ though, right fielder?
No. So Swindell's 29 and Wisdom's 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. So
and then Ortega is also 30, I think.
Not kids.
Oh no! A bunch of Roy Hobbs is coming up.
Well, rookies.
But
2 of those guys.
Jimmy Morris.
How's Swindell in the field? I know he plays first base, but
solid.
He's,
nondescript. Is that a good way to put it? Which means
fine.
That's not good or bad. If you're nondescript, it means that you're pretty unnoticeable.
I'll say this: if there's a DH next year in the NL, he'll probably at this point be slotted in.
Oh yeah,
the DH as of now.
Okay, because Wisdom, at least
Wisdom can't pick it.
He was a damn good fielding third baseman, and they kept going at him too. It was okay, we get it. He's got a glove. I'm looking at Swindell's spray chart here. He's pretty dead pull too.
No, he is.
I mean, he pulls the baseball, but he has had his offensive approach. If you look at his spray chart, he does hit the ball the other way. He also fights off balls that are outer half.
I don't watch his at bats. I'm just going straight. The spray chart has 2 balls and I guess 3 balls you can consider right field.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think Kevin's thinking of his like go ahead hit the other day that went to
Well,
right
no,
field.
I've seen him spray baseballs down the right side a few times, but maybe those are just like fight offs
All
or
right.
hard.
Yeah,
balls.
I guess that one. Yeah, so we'll call it he's got 6 hits to the right side.
Okay, all right.
But I don't know. To me, if I had to pick between the two, I'd probably take Wisdom just because I want a guy that can. I think he's got the better glove from what I've seen. Again, like I said, like you asked, complete outsider's opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
the Swindell guy has all the makings of a Cubs folk hero. The whole hanging out at Cubby Bear and
Yeah.
like buying people drinks and like, I mean, you couldn't recognize this guy from, anyone. He just looked like a normal dude, just kind of goofy looking tall guy. He's not even tall. He's 6'1", but he's just,
He
hanging
just
out
has
or
that
whatever.
goofy face.
Yeah.
Nothing against Frank the Tank, but you have a goofy face.
But
His nickname is apparently the Tank, according to his Wikipedia.
yeah, I mean, it was.
Well, I mean, I think
if you name your kid Frank, he's going to be called the Tank at some point in his life. But
So I was telling you earlier about another outfielder, Hermosillo, who got hurt. His season's over after a forearm injury. And like I was telling you how like for any of these guys, like at this point, what we're seeing, obviously we're not. We're excited about like this past month of these guys being great.
mhm.
Like the best case scenario for any of these guys is like, can you be a solid platoon guy? Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
So like I honestly think that's like what like any of these 3 guys could be. And Ortega too. Ortega's in like almost 300 he has to have like close to 300 at bats now.
This is so interesting to me, though. I'm looking at Swindell stats, like his minor league stats too. None of these justify a guy that should be lingering at a lower level. Like every season's at 280, 22 homers, 75 RBI, and 118 games. He hit 2016 270, 20 homers, 68. I mean, he had solid seasons, and then he hit this last few seasons. He hit 329 with 23 homers, 97 RBIs, in 133 games. But what happened was he got released, or whatever happened at the end of spring training. He was named to the opening day roster, and then he got DFA'd. And he took whoa,
The draft started.
he took his release, and then
Yet, this spot actually.
what is the hell? Sorry,
ESPN.
auto draft crap they throw on there. But he ended up
Yahoo.
working
Yeah,
his
I
way-
recognize that. That was Yahoo.
He took his release. He was granted that on the DFA or whatever. He signs with the Tigers, and he played AAA for the rest of the season after he was DFA'd, and then 2020 hits. He doesn't play, and so he's a free agent. Nobody signs nowhere, and then he signs at the end of 2020 with the A's, and he was good again down there. He seems to always hit wherever he's at. That doesn't seem to be an issue with him. That's what's weird. The only thing you can think of is he's been log jammed behind guys, or he just, when he was in the show, he just didn't. I've seen guys hit 400 at AAA and then come up and can't hit for dick. So
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that I'm not going to say like the minor league numbers don't matter. At the same time, there's probably like a good reason why. Just like I said it with Patrick Wisdom, there's probably a good reason. Like Mercedes, there's a reason why these guys were 28, 29, 30 and weren't really given a great opportunity to get a lot of MLB playing time.
And
But
then,
hopefully Swindell breaks out of that mold, and maybe he just is like a guy who didn't have that chance.
so question that have for you two as the representation of the Cubs delegation on this show. It's been fun, especially watching them rip off, what was it, like a 7-game winning streak, 8-game winning streak.
7 in a row, yep.
So the team pretty much sucks, but it's fun to win. But are you nervous that they're playing themselves into a shittier draft position?
See, I remember when we went back a few weeks ago, and I was all on board. See, here's the thing. I was thinking about it earlier in the day because that did come up on Cubs Twitter today a little bit. It wasn't so much. It was like, lose on purpose to get a lower draft pick. My thought was just, I'm not necessarily as pissed off because they're losing. Like, I'm pissed off at like the organization, the front office, like the situation that they created to get to this point.
Yep.
I wasn't really necessarily like pissed off, like, oh, they're losing, like, oh, they're just, tanking for the draft pick. but then I saw a great point. It was like at this point for this past month and a half, you have to analyze what you are, who the guys you have on the roster.
Mhm.
It is better at this point to see, and if they succeed, and if those leads to wins, like okay, that just happened. But at least, hey, if you can trust Frank Schwindell to fill in as your right-handed DH next year for at least some part of the season, or can Rafael Ortega, can he actually handle a platoon? And that's why it sucked the injury to Michael Hermosillo was because that's a guy who is he's not as old as these guys. This guy's younger than Ian Happ. He's 26.
Mhm.
This is a guy who's like drafted out of high school when he was drafted out of high school. It's like the talent is there. It's like he was killing it at AAA this year. And it was like, hey, all right, this guy has the tools. Like it's not just like, oh, he was putting up numbers just because he was putting up numbers. It's like, no, this guy has tools. This guy has a skill set. Let's just see what he can do. And that's why it's like he only got to play a couple weeks, and he wasn't even playing every day.
Yeah, no, I get
but to the draft point, it's like
yeah.
I kind of do side with Kevin and like with everyone who when we talked about a few weeks ago, the MLB draft, I was gonna get the best player 1-1.
Correct.
The only thing I do have to say is, back in what was it, 2011, 2012, Cubs lost like more than 100 games, I think. If they started winning at the end of the year, yeah, Mark Appel went 1 to Houston, but the Cubs probably could have dropped out of the top 3 and they would have ended up with Chris Bryant. So you do get to a point where, but again, that's all after the fact. That's all results based. Yeah, it's all hindsight. So yeah, no, with the MLB at this point, if this 7-game winning streak caused them to move from 5 to 10, like fine, trust your scouting.
And you got to give it to the guys for working their ass off too. These guys are playing for their careers; their livelihoods are on the line, so they're out there busting their ass. And that's the hard part about being pissed off with like front office and ownership is that you don't want to take it out on the dudes that are out there busting their ass now. It's not their fault. They're not making those decisions, and so that's what makes it so exciting too. Is this team feels like a bunch of plumbers and carpenters out there, as opposed to like the high talent, incredible upside of players like Chris Bryant and Javi Baez and Anthony Rizzo, and so all of a sudden you're looking at Frank Schwindell. You're looking at these kind of what we would call journeymen, right? I mean, they've been around a little bit. They're the Bull Durhams, they're the Crash Davises of the world. Excuse me, and they've been around, and that makes it fun for them because maybe it's their last hurrah, or they're getting they found a fountain of youth. It's fun and exciting, and again, having something to root for is kind of fun. I don't think I'm not someone that intentionally roots for any team that I like to lose. If you do that for me, to each their own, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you. I mean, I will judge you a little bit, but I don't root for my team to lose. I don't ever want to see my team lose. I love my team too much to I can't. I'm too competitive in that sense. Tanking, that stuff, that drives me nuts. I mean, I saw a post today of someone saying how they were they're rooting against the Bears and all, and I'm like, fair enough on your end, but I'm rooting for the Bears to ruin everything. Like, play good baseball. Respect the game. Rooting it to lose is disrespectful to the game anyway. Like, I'm not rooting for the Bad News Bears to show up. I'm rooting for good baseball because I'm watching baseball. Like, why watch?
And it's
why
really
watch
it's really hard to expect a bunch of guys that are literally playing for their proverbial baseball lives to take their foot off the gas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, these guys, like we said, they're 29, 30 years old. This is basically it for them. And as you both brought up multiple times, they're trying to win a bench spot somewhere in the league, if not in Chicago, somewhere. This is basically just like a month-long audition for them right now. And it's just, I mean, it's really hard for me to sit here and be like, oh, you guys are fucking up the tank. Well, what do you want me to do? This is my life. Like, this is my career, And also, I'm very glad you said it all, though, because you hit the nail on the head. Unlike any other professional sport, 1-1 isn't going to get you the best player, guaranteed. You know what I mean? Well,
the least guaranteed,
but yeah,
pick.
It's the least guaranteed pick.
Because like the thing is, the 1-1, that guy could still be good, but like there could be a guy drafted like in the second round who's like 10-time All-Star or something.
Yeah, wasn't Trout like 20?
Trout was like 19 or
yeah. So like, it's just there's no guarantee, but I don't know. I was curious to what you guys thought about that because I don't know. I was thinking about the show tonight and stuff to talk about, and I was like, it's cool that all these Cubs keep winning all these games, but they're kind of fucking up their their draft.
I did have it. I didn't have it, but again, it was just like you know what it was? It was when they were when they had that 11-game losing streak again after the trade deadline.
Right.
Like for me, I would normally I'd be like when they had that in June and July, I was like pissed. I was like, great, you guys ruined the season. Like you guys are all going to get traded now.
Right.
But then it would change to like I was kind of indifferent about it. I was like, well, that fucking sucks.
Right. Yeah.
But in terms of like, but I do remember because I am making like a kind of a way because I think at first I was kind of like, I mean, yeah, if they lose, it's fine. Like it's better for the team. Now that they've won, I have to admit hey, at least it was fun. It was a lot more fun watching them win. And hey, if they dropped like 3 draft spots down, it was entertaining to watch them, actually win some games, be fun. Frank Swindell, like I think he had 4 games in a row, the game-winning hit, like in the 6th inning or later. Like that was cool. Cool for him. Cool for the fans who went out there and spend too much money for tickets.
Right. And then the other side of things, the White Sox, since we last did a show, I mean, they beat Pittsburgh and then lost 2 out of 3 in Kansas City because the fucking Royals and fucking Salvador Perez, who just hit another home run like 5 minutes ago.
The Salvador Perez versus Yasmani Grandal White Sox Royals like trash talk on Twitter is fantastic.
Well, here I'll summarize it for everyone here. Salvador Perez hits home runs. Yasmani Grandal can frame, and that's basically the counterpoints for both sides of the argument. And
I mean, it is fantastic.
You have the F war versus B war, and you have all these other.
You have I think both F war and B war. I mean, Grandal, because he has such a high on base percentage, he's always going to be, or like he's better on like because again, Grandal missed like a month and a half, almost 2 months. And it's like, if they would have played the same amount of games, like Grandal would have like double Perez's war.
Right.
But it's like Perez has 42 home runs, 41 home runs.
42 now. And then people brought in the defense part of things because Salvi Perez is not a good defensive catcher. He's dead last in the league in framing. And then the debate switched over to how much do you value framing? And like all this, it was crazy. I know what you're talking about. I watched a lot of them. I think they're both very good catchers. I think they're different catchers. I mean, I think that's a fair thing to say. I think that's an okay thing to say.
You can really like twist the knife into Royals fans. Be like, Salvador Perez, great hitter. Because then you can always be like, Yasmani Grandal, he's the best catcher. Or you'd be like, Salvi, yeah, great hitter.
I think all around baseball player, it's Yasmani Grandal.
Oh yeah.
Better hitter, Salvador Perez.
But then the Royals fans, they come back. They're like, well, Salvador Perez plays every game.
Yeah. I don't know.
It is wild.
It was
how about the fucking Royals though? I think they won the season series.
The Royals, and I'm not saying that the White Sox are anything like the 90s Bulls, but do you remember the Bulls team that went 72-10?
Oh, and then they lost all their games to like bad
Toronto.
teams.
They lost. The only team that beat them twice that season was the Toronto Raptors. And it was a bad Toronto Raptors team, like a last place Toronto Raptors team. And the Royals were just that thorn in the side this season. I mean, frustrating ass games. They won. The Sox lost 7-2, then they won 10-7, then they lost 6-0. That Sunday game was pitiful.
Yeah.
It was painful to watch. And then Sox currently are in Oakland. Always for the last like 15 years has been a shitty trip for the White Sox. Never played good in Oakland, going into the playoffs last year even. And they won the first game 6-3 in a really convincing fashion. I think they had 15 hits, I want to say.
I mean, not only that, your boy, Jimmy Lambert, 5 shutout innings, right? Or 1 run?
15 hits for the Sox, yeah. He pitched well.
Yeah.
And it was a little shaky, and I mean, it's tough to give a guy like that benefit of the doubt just because of the unknown, but I'll tell you what, he pitched better than the guy that's about to take the hill tonight. Yep.
I saw it too earlier today. It was like a Sox fan. They're like, it's Dallas Keuchel Day, and it's just like it's like a profile of someone like kneeling down with their head in their hands.
Yep.
Is that what it feels like? So
It
it's
does.
like you look at the schedule and it's like, oh fuck, it's Dallas Keuchel.
It feels like a rainy day after a week of like 72 and sunny. It's like perfect weather, and then like he's like a speed bump. Like it's just any momentum they had from last night. And I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Like I got the game on right here. It's about to get started. Just I hope I'm wrong, but I mean, I was the one saying Dallas isn't cooked. Dallas isn't cooked. Dallas looks cooked.
I mean, he had. I guess right now he is. I mean, it's a weird way to say it, but he is lucky about the injuries that they had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rodon getting skipped, Giolito with the hamstring, Lynn with the knee.
Mm-hmm.
Because if those guys were healthy, I think maybe not this, or I mean, who knows? Maybe I don't know how long that leash has been for or is for La Russa with like a veteran guy like Keuchel, who's had prior success.
Mm-hmm.
But like if it got, and it probably has a lot to do with like the big division leads. So it's not like you're like, oh fuck, we need this game tonight, or like we can't fuck up the bullpen. So like maybe that does give Keuchel a longer leash. But like if those other guys are all healthy and the rotation is 100% healthy, I wonder if those conversations with La Russa and like his coaching staff is like, should we give Ronaldo a shot here? Because Keuchel has been awful.
The term that everybody likes to abuse now is, should we stretch him out? Should we stretch him out?
I mean, Ronaldo's stretched out.
Should we get Kopech stretched out? Should we give Crochet a spot? Should we do a Crochet Kopech game? Should we like? It's just crazy, but like people are scrambling so much because Keuchel has been so bad, and I mean, again, he's pitching as we record this. The game's about to start. Luis Roberts going into the box, but I don't see any way, shape, or form Dallas Keuchel makes this playoff roster.
So we talked about that last week, and I wanted to ask you another Keuchel question, a Keuchel-related question.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've talked about this player a lot. I mean, I think he was on the team before this podcast started. Are you worried at all, or are you like, that's fine, we'll bite the bullet here? Are you worried at all that Dallas Keuchel has that one more year and then the option? But I don't think the option at this point. I think the option is can't wait for next year to end. He still has the $18 million guaranteed. Are you like worried that because of that money guaranteed to him is going to cost Sox from trying to re-sign Rodon? Or are you like, that's fine, Rodon, go get paid somewhere else?
I've kind of conceded the fact that I'm ready. Like I'll see Carlos Rodon in a different uniform next year. I've read a couple of interviews so far of him saying like, I'm going to give the White Sox every opportunity possible to keep me in Chicago. He's talked about like, this has been his home for a long time. This is the only home his kids know and shit like that. And I really believe him. Rodon seems like the type of guy that it's not lip service. You know what I mean? Like it seems legit.
And I mean, the Sox did give him this like other chance because like they DFA'd him, and then they're like, "Hey,
third and fourth chance."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because with all the injuries, and they're like, "Hey, we'll bring you back." I mean, they had to pay him like a little bit, but they're like, "Hey, you'll have one more shot here." They basically in like a 1-year prove it deal, and hey, he's proved it so far.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know. I would like to think that the front office can get creative about working around a bad Dallas Keuchel contract, but who knows? Hopefully, I mean, up until like a month or two ago, he wasn't this bad. Like it was never this bad. But now in his last 3 starts, he's allowed 16 runs in 9 innings.
That's just been the steady decline of them. Right. The past month has just been straight down.
And it's been a little brutal. And we got a lot of good injury updates about the White Sox today. Tim Anderson took batting practice in Oakland with the team, and he was clocking himself, sprinting to first, and he was like, "Oh, that's a 3-2. That's a 3-2." Yeah. Lucas Giolito's been downplaying his injury since they put him, since it started. He was just like, it's not that bad. They just want me to be really careful because, we got a bigger goal in mind than just the division.
Yep.
And, my cousin Lance Lynn was saying, I'm good. I'm going to throw a bullpen on Friday, and then I should be good to go whenever they want to slot me in. I just got to make sure I take extra care of my knee just to make sure I'm at 100%. Speaking of knees, Oakland needs to burn that stadium to the ground or get fucking dugout rails put in, as Eloy Jimenez got drilled by a line drive by Andrew Vaughn. He was just sitting there, and the ball just drilled him right in the knee. He has a deep bone contusion.
Is he starting?
No, he's out tonight. They said
because
they'll probably.
Yeah, I saw when he left the game, and I thought it was on the slide, and then I heard when they're showing the replay,
dude, it was.
And then they were like, "Yeah, after he got drilled in the dugout." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, I mean, the worst Little League fields in America still have a fence in front of the dugout. Like, and I know that Oakland has like crazy foul ball space and like all that stuff, but like, dude, he was just sitting there, and Luis Robert was like standing in front of him, so he was like shielded, like he couldn't see Andrew Vaughn batting, and the ball just came flying, and Luis Robert jumps out of the way, and it just drills Eloy right in the side of the knee. And to his credit, he played, but he said it got worse as the game went on, and then scoring on that play and sliding didn't help. He said he feels great today. He says he feels fine, but again, with your magic number at 14 now going into this game, and you've seen how valuable Eloy is, they're just like, bro, you're done till Friday. Like, just take it easy, bud. It's gonna be okay. But all in all, some really good injury news on the White Sox front. The big one is TA to me. Like, don't get me wrong, Larry Garcia has been hitting really well, and Danny Mendick's serviceable, but like, we've talked almost ad nauseum on the show about how vital Tim Anderson is to this team, and just having number 7 out on the field and all that shit. And like, yeah.
So speaking about the roster and then the postseason, Keuchel, maybe on the fringe right now. You brought up this guy, I think Tuesday night after another solid game, Gavin Sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Playoff rosters up?
If I'm making it, yeah.
So who's out?
You got to figure Ingles coming back. He's actually playing in Charlotte right now, so he's real close to coming back. I want to say you want to keep Hamilton on the roster, but like, if it's Hamilton or Sheets, I think I'm taking Sheets, man. You know what I mean? Like,
I think the key too is once you go into the postseason, obviously you don't need that 5th starter, and so I think you're gonna have like that one extra position player because you'll have the one fewer pitcher. Right. So I think that does buy you the Gavin Sheets spot.
Like, but what have we talked about with the White Sox in the beginning? Oh, Jose Abreu ground into a double play. That's fucking weird. What if
you sound a little angry there. Don't tell me.
No,
if it gets to October though.
I love Jose, but he literally leads the league in hitting into double plays. But like, we said it preseason, we said it before the trade deadline. I mean, for like probably the last 2 years, what do the White Sox need? A power left-handed bat.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Sheets has been fucking hitting piss missiles all over the place. And I like his swing. I think it's a very smooth swing. I think it's a very like fundamentally sound swing. I think he's not a really good fielder, but he'll do in a pinch. Like, he's not going to lose you a game in the outfield or playing first base, but I prefer him in the DH position. And having that power left bat just adds just such another dimension to this already very good lineup. You know what I mean? It makes it tougher, especially with the new relief pitcher rules where you got to pitch 3 batters. So like, I like where they have him tonight. I think they got him 5 or 6, but he's sandwiched in between 2 righties. So like, one of those guys is going to get the matchup they want. And I just think it adds a lot more oomph to the lineup. And I mean, don't get me wrong, you need a guy like Hamilton, a nice defensive replacement, good pitch runner, experienced player. Everybody likes him and everything like that. But I mean, who's he scaring at the plate right now?
Nobody.
I mean, he's good for like a double here and there, but like most of the time, it's as close as you get to an automatic out, And
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm fully on board the Gavin Sheets train. I think he should be. I think he's earned this spot on the playoff roster. I think it'd be a great story too for the World Series DVD. I think it's going to be good.
Also makes for a great shirt. Like,
Yep.
very easy to do puns with him.
And Stacey King kept calling him Silk Sheets or Silky Sheets when he did the game. By the
question.
way,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. So, what do you? I heard one of the games. It was Kansas City, right? When he was.
yeah, Friday night game that got rained out, so it didn't even start till like crazy.
Oh
late.
yeah, that was like the long ass.
So,
So it was Adam Amin and Stacey King.
And I mean, Adam's done a couple games already this year.
Mm-hmm.
But so he's good. He's a professional. He's like Jason, where he can call any sport whenever. He's fine. Stacey King is the wild card in this equation, and it kind of almost. I started getting nervous because Jason kept saying like, Stacey's like a legit Sox fan. I'm like, okay, now you're overselling me this shit. Like this is gonna get bad. And because the game was like 2-3 hours delayed from the scheduled start time, people had a couple in them. You know what I mean? What a catch by Andrew Vaughn. Diving catch. That's what I'm talking about, Southside Agenda Podcast. Get that priority straight.
Hell yeah.
But I think he did a fantastic job. I really enjoyed it. It was a great change of pace. For a 162-game season, it's not the worst thing in the world to have something a little bit different every once in a while. And Stacey King brought his Stacey King flair to it, like calling Gavin Sheets Silk Sheets, Silky Sheets, like all that stuff. And Larry Garcia had a great play at short, and that was the only hot sauce call we got. But
No.
I don't know. I thought it was really good. I was impressed with his knowledge of the game, and he also knew when to kind of sit something out. Like if you really didn't know like the situation or anything like that, it was great. Debbie nailed it. Sox suck. Well, we have a Cubs suck and a Sox suck so far in the comments.
And let's go and a Go Bears. So
we got a Cubs suck, a Sox suck.
We got two Go Bears
and Go Bears.
We got two Go Bears.
But it's
we got a who cares which rhymes. Who cares?
Well, this guy's profile pictures with Jeremy Piven. He's important. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I liked it. I wouldn't.
And
mind
then part
it
two, like how I think when he first debuted his first game, we all kind of were like, "All right, Gordon Beckham, what can you do?" Now that he's done more games, what do you think? So,
people are giving me shit, but I don't mind him at all. I think it's kind of funny. I think he's entertaining. He obviously knows the game, and it's funny to me when he forgets that he's in the booth. You know what I mean? Like shit happens, and he's like, "What are you doing?" Or go or something like in his little hillbilly accent, and like,
dude, his accent gets because you don't normally hear
right.
Those guys don't go up the broadcast chain, but Gordon Beckham with that southern twang.
It's what did he say? I forgot who hit it, but he was talking.
He is going to swear one day, and I can't wait. He's going to do it. He
was talking about somebody at the plate, like how his bat's been hot, and he's like, I think it was like Grandal or someone. He hit a home run, and he's just like, and yeah, hell, Yaz been one of the hottest players, and then Yaz just hits an absolute piss miss, and he goes, "Yep, see you there, you go, smell you later." And I was like, did he really just say "smell you later" as his home run call? It was phenomenal. I want that to be his official home run call. For
smell you later. I mean, that would be great. Yeah.
And it was perfect time. As soon as the ball left the bat, he dropped a "smell you later," and it was perfect. And he didn't get excited. He didn't raise his voice. His tone stayed the same. He's like, and yeah, has been one of the hottest hitters on team. Smell you later. And it was just like, yes, it was so perfect. I rewound it twice during the commercial break after it and watched it again because it was hilarious, dude. So I don't mind it. I mean, Steve Stone, he's got a good job going right now. The guy's got like unlimited PTO or some shit like that, but he's working.
Wait, does he just have it in his contract? Like, I'm just not doing road games?
He's probably like, dude, I'm almost 80. Like, leave me the fuck alone. Like,
It does make sense because they're still doing the games they're not traveling yet.
No, they're all in
And
Chicago.
yeah, so he's like, I'm not watching a game through a TV monitor.
Yeah, I'm
and
not
calling it.
going to 35th and Shields to sit in a booth with an empty stadium to call a game. Like, give me a fucking Yeti microphone and I'll do it from my living room if you really want it.
So two things. One, today I learned that Andrew Vaughn has played more Major League Baseball games than Luis Robert.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then two, what are you seeing, Kevin? Andrew Vaughn's, is it just beef cursing him? Or is this the second adjustment from like MLB pitching? What's going on with Andrew Vaughn? He's been struggling for a month.
We will accept both.
Yeah, I mean, someone probably they found something, and now it's his job to kind of close the gap. And he's overexposed. This is why Tony La Russa has been trying to keep him rested all year, is because he's hitting a wall. This is the wall that you want to be able to be rested enough that when you hit it, you have the strength to punch through it. And he's kind of punching through it, but this is where you let him swing out of it. And I think La Russa you're seeing he's not at a loss for at bats right now. In fact, it's like, it's weird. People are calling for him to take some time off when 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, they were like begging for him to play every game for the rest of the season. He's going to not need days off now. This is the time for him to go out and just work. Maybe a day off here and there to kind of rework on some sort of gap in the swing or something. But for the most part, he needs to get out there and go. And, I think it's just a wall. I think he's fine. I think to give him give him a week or two. And again, this final stretch down, the second half of September, guys kick it in. It's like that. It's like a scaling Mount Everest, man. Most people think that it's about getting to the top. That's just half the battle. You got to save your energy to get down too. And right now, I think he's at that point where he's conserved enough that now it's time to dismount from the top of Everest and continue on down. So I think he's going to be fine, but I think he's got this reserve in him for the stretch that he's kind of like been kind of, he's got to adjust, and his body's adjusting and his mind's adjusting and his, the scouting report's adjusting. So it's all about his adjustment, period. Yep.
I'm fine with it. I mean, I think overall, if the season ended today, I would call this season 100% a success for Andrew Vaughn. I also think, this has been a great preview to what he can do next year. I'm curious as to what they would do in an off season this year and how they're going to use Andrew. I think he's earned that, though. Also, a little bit of breaking news on the show. Dallas Keuchel got out of the first inning without giving up a run. Sky points all around for that one. That was impressive. It took a diving catch by Andrew Vaughn, a sick play by Yoan Moncada, and an actual pretty good play by Dallas himself. But hey,
Dallas Keuchel, he can still fill this position. He just can't pitch that well.
Oh my God, does Jason Benetti love to remind you he won a Gold Glove?
One more thing about
he cannot wait for Dallas Keuchel to make the most routine or whatever kind of fielding play. That's why he won a Gold Glove.
You got to get the positives because there hasn't been many for him. One thing on Vaughn that I absolutely love, anytime I've said for every player when they struggle, can you still be somewhat valuable at the plate? And even with the struggles, because in August he had a 715 OPS. He only hit 225. However, still put up a 340 on base percentage and had 13 walks to 15 strikeouts. So even with the struggles, even with not hitting as well as he did in July when he hit over 300, 13 to 15 walk to strikeout ratio. Amazing for a rookie. Incredible.
100%. And he's still in the top 81 percentile in hard hit percentage. He's still top 78 percentile in average exit velocity. He hits the fucking ball hard when he hits it. You know what I mean? His K rate right now, he's right in the middle of the league. He's league average. He's at 50. He's in the 52 percentile. It's not bad by any means. It's just, and you want to talk about a spray chart. His spray chart looks like what you thought Swindell's did. I fucked that up, but still, his spray chart looks. He's all over the place. It's equal to all fields. I take away this season as a big positive for Andrew Vaughn, especially being a guy thrown into the major leagues with no AAA experience, and then being like, oh, by the way, here's a position you've literally never played in your life, played at the major league level and execute. And he did.
I mean, not even no AAA experience. He only played in the minors after he was drafted in 2019. They only had like a month and a half in the minors. And then obviously the 2020 season was all, they were just at the alternate site. But yeah, no, fantastic for Andrew Vaughn, especially like you said, not only playing one position that he's never played before, multiple. Like he was playing left to right.
He played second base one game.
Filled in second. I think he filled in first a couple times.
We got a barrel alert on Yasmani Grandal.
There you go.
100-mile-an-hour exit velo. He hit the top of the wall for a double.
Decent.
Yeah.
Speaking of guys who've been great, I don't think this guy, or maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Has this guy gotten as much love as I think he deserves? Because I just looked up his numbers. And maybe he gets forgotten about. I don't know why. Maybe he's a little quieter. Obviously, doesn't speak English. But Luis Robert has been amazing.
He's so fucking good. And you know what? And I'm very excited because after we're done with the show, I'm going to go play MLB The Show until I get his new 98 overall card because he is one of their August players of the month. Like he's. But no, dude, his game is so smooth. And he is like the whole, like, speak softly but carry a big stick. Like,
dude is hitting 340.
He doesn't talk. He doesn't bat flip. He doesn't dance. Except on TikTok. He doesn't like.
He'll like striptease on TikTok.
Yeah, he's not flashy or anything, but man, oh man, I think we're. The show servers are down. That's fucking lame.
Ooh.
We've seen. I think he's back to 100% finally in these last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that with confidence because of, yes, what he's doing at the plate, but also he's coming off a Gold Glove season in center field. And now he's making these catches. And there was a catch on Tuesday night, and Oakland's a huge field. You know what I mean? And he covered so much ground in center field to catch the ball. Like, he didn't even have to extend his arm. He was just like, looked up and was like, boop. And it was like, how did you get there? Like, what is going? And Kansas City had a great diving catch. Like, he's just. I'm very, 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 very happy that he's on the White Sox.
And we talked about it all, like the 2-month season in 2020 when he started off amazing, like those first 3 weeks, first month.
Yep.
And then he took a big nosedive in September. But coming off that, and now this year, he had to deal with the injury too, being out for 2.5, 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
But the approach seems, it's just, he's not, I think, what was it? It was on Tuesday night. He had like that long, I think he still made it out. But I saw a tweet. It was like 2020, Luis Robert would have struck out 7 times by now in this at-bat.
Yes. It's the low and away slider.
Mm-hmm.
He's learned to take it, and he's also learned to jump on it before the break.
Yeah.
He's not sitting back on it as much. And he's taking it to, yes, it's like a whole different ball player. And he's so young and he's so raw still that after this season and another off season, I just can't even fathom how good he's going to be next year.
Yeah, I mean, he is quickly, because we knew the glove was there. I mean, he showed it right away. But it was just, we know the power's there. We know the skills there. The talent is there. Is like obviously the approach. Can you lay off the pitches? This guy's quickly ascending to Juan Soto took that just immediate step from AA to MLB, and he was just an all-star. He was just great.
And usually
I think Luis Robert is just on that level because, again, he's only played in 113 games.
And usually I would say, although pump the brakes, let's not start comparing him to Juan Soto and all this shit, but
two different hitters because Juan Soto has the best eye in the league, but just in terms of a young guy, a young guy ascending that quick, like Luis Robert. God damn.
But all right, we're gonna take a little break here because I want to show you guys this play because I know we're on the show, but this is sick. This isn't White Sox. This is the play to end the. It's 2-1 in the top of the ninth, 2 outs. Tampa Bay is at the plate. watch this absolute hose. Good Lord. This is to end the game, too.
Oh,
Goes
no.
all the way to the track. This is the fucking right fielder, too, covering center field.
Oh, shit.
Oh, beautiful.
Dude.
That's good baseball.
Sorry. I had
Wendell.
Repeat that real quick. Let's watch one more time.
Yeah.
In the gap, diving attempt off the glove, maybe.
Gets there.
Right fielder,
From
and
the
bam.
track. From the farthest part in the ballpark.
That is cannon.
Woo.
That's
Is
him
that
moving.
Hunter? Is that Hunter Renfroe?
Yes.
That's him
I
moving.
wanted the Cubs to sign him so bad.
He's
Sorry.
moving towards the fence. He's moving towards the fence, backing up that baseball.
And I apologize to all of our
makes-
podcast listeners, but sometimes when a play's that good, this is one of the advantages of watching the live
Watching
show.
live. You got to tune in Wednesday night.
Because Hunter Renfroe with an absolute, I mean, that's like Vladdy Sr. type cannon. Like
to
that's
bring
a
back an
fucking
old
hose.
show sound, because that was sweet. Because that's cannon. Again, the fact that he controlled his body enough to get anything into that throw while backing up is pretty darn incredible into itself.
And of course, the biggest Red Sox homer of all time, Jared Crobas. 20 years from now, I'll still be talking about the Hunter Renfroe game.
Oh, okay.
Like, well, he had one earlier in the game where he pegged a guy from right field. But
Okay.
these are big. Well, why don't we just get into that, because we should end the show from now until when the playoffs start with the playoff races.
I was literally just going to ask you about the standings and what do you think is how it's going to shake out?
These are big games. You got to figure. So Tampa Bay's pretty much got the AL East wrapped up pretty well. But this is a big game for Boston, because right now the Yankees and the Red Sox are
tied. Yeah, the Yankees have been terrible the last couple weeks.
Right, but the big thing is the Blue Jays are fucking unreal right now. What's his name? The former White Sox.
Marcus Semien. Look, that guy's gonna get paid.
Yeah, and all these. I hate to do this to you guys, but there's a lot of White Sox fans that are like, Marcus Semien, future White Sox second baseman. No, they're not. He's not coming back, guys.
Yeah, Cesar Hernandez.
He's not.
Boy, is he lucky that the Sox have a huge division lead.
Yeah, I need a lot more out of Cesar. Gloves there. Gloves buying him some time. Gloves buying him some time.
For the price, you should just brought back Yolmer Sanchez. You want a Gold Glove?
I gotta think Cesar, whatever. He figures it out. But anyways, crazy race for the AL wild card now, though, with Toronto only 2.5 out. The Mariners 3 games out. The A's are only 4 games out.
They're sliding now.
Yeah, their bullpen sucks.
I think they got swept in Toronto this past weekend. That was huge.
Their bullpen is failing them at the worst time. And then the other big one, though, is the National League wild card. The Padres and the Reds are tied for that second wild card spot. I mean, the first wild card spot is going to go to whoever comes in second in the NL West.
Well, yeah, no, the NL, it's the NL West, the NL East is still close, and then the NL wild card. The only 2 divisions in baseball that are pretty much over are the Centrals.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The AL West.
AL East too, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the AL West, I don't see the Mariners catching the Astros unless they just take a horrible nosedive. But it's that the Mariners
5.5 games.
Yeah, Mariners have a great shot though at the wild card. I mean, the wild card is completely up for grabs.
That's gonna be fun, yeah.
I personally would, as a fan, would love to see a Yankees Red Sox wild card game in the Bronx. Like, I think that'd be unreal. That atmosphere would be awesome. But also, it is not a mystery here that I've always liked the Blue Jays, and they're just such a fun, young, talented team.
Yeah.
And for as many people that were so quick to call Vladdy Jr. a bust,
After a fucking Mickey Mouse fucking bullshit season. Oh, this guy stinks. He's fat. He's out of shape.
All it took was homeboy to put the cheeseburgers down and get in a weight room and get a little bit motivation, which props to all the people that gave him motivation because what's he got, 40-something now?
Yeah.
He's got 40 bombs. And they're not cheapies. He doesn't hit cheap home runs. He hits tanks. And Simeon's been, oh, God, he's been so good too, though. I don't know. Crazy shit, man. Baseball's awesome.
Yeah, no, I remember you brought up Toronto last week, and I was like, oh, yeah, Toronto. Like, they're pretty fun, too. But, like, I don't know. Seattle, I'm still, like, pulling for Seattle just because they haven't been there in a while. And, like, they have a few young players. They've kind of been a surprise. So that's always good to see, like, new blood in the playoffs. But, like, I mean, we talked about it. Like, Yankees, Red Sox for one game plan. That'd be fun as hell. The NL. I mean, the NL East is still – I have no clue how – well, I know how because the Mets are just playing, like, the worst teams in their division. But those three teams, the Mets, Braves, and Phillies, they're all within like 4 games of each other, with the Braves leading right now, and they all kind of have kind of easy schedules, and they also play each other. So that's gonna come down to the last week, I think. And the wild card too, yeah, Reds, Padres.
The best part about all this, dude, is this is some awesome, insane, intense baseball in which the White Sox have a 10-game lead in their division. You know what I mean? It's like
imagine if the Sox were like in the AL East. You'd be like,
goodness gracious.
You guys would be like what 8 games back of the holy shit, the Rays.
Breaking news: Dallas Keuchel still bad.
Oh no!
What happened? What happened? Break it down, Zed. What happened? Second inning didn't go as well.
106 mile per hour exit velocity. Matt Chapman just fucking hit a moonshot into the Pacific Ocean. Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah. Let's see the pitch. Looks like it's a breaking ball that, oh my God, dude, that is right down the fucking middle. That is straight meat.
I haven't watched I haven't watched most of Dallas.
105 mile an hour exit velocity, 402 feet. I mean, that ball was right down the fucking.
I mean, Kevin this just sounds like John Lester of like the past couple of years at the end for the Cubs.
Absolutely. It's can't get out. Just
dude, it was a 79.5 mile per hour pitch right down the middle.
It's like, because the guys they can't rely on the velocity in the corners anymore. They have to be crafty, and then they miss, they're gonna get hit really hard.
And he missed. He just threw a nice sinker painted the corner, but like the one to Chapman. Good Lord. I mean, that was BP, dude. That's the best. I know people say that all the time, but I'm not exaggerating. That was batting practice.
Hey man, it was only a solo home run, right?
It was only a solo shot.
Okay, all right. At least he didn't like walk a guy and then give up the home run. So that's
not yet. But the good news is Raylo figured something out.
I mean, the LASIK.
Yeah, well, I still can't believe that was it. But yeah, Raylo got the LASIK, and I don't know, man. Like I said, with all this great competitive baseball, like I thoroughly enjoy now every morning. Like there's like a 45-minute window where between when I get my son changed and fed to like where I have to take him to his grandma's for the day. But like we literally sit on the couch and we watch MLB Network, the quick hit show, and we watch all the highlights and stuff. But it's cool to like have so many meaningful games right now. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And then like you talked about like the Sox, the big league, like this past weekend, Sox lose 2-3. The pitching looks bad for the most, like 2 out of those 3 games. It didn't even. I think you guys' lead went up.
Yeah, the magic number continues to go down because Cleveland is so bad.
Yeah, and it's like hey, like.
Oh, actually, this brings up a good point. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, gotta give credit where credit's due. White Sox Dave did a fantastic interview with Rick Hahn last week. Had him in studio, which in studio interviews definitely hit different. You know, there's a different connection versus a Zoom meeting. And they talked about so many good things. Rick was extremely candid. I think it was one of the best Rick Hahn interviews I've heard in some time. And he asked Rick straight up, he's like, I know you see what's going on Twitter. I know you won't admit you have a burner, but I know you know, like, like what fans are bitching about. You know what I mean? Like, I know you see like the trade deadline stuff and all that other stuff. And Rick didn't disagree with him. He's just like, yeah. And he's just like, what pisses you off the most when people talk shit about you, when people talk shit about a certain player, when people talk shit about Kenny, when people talk shit about Jerry? Like, what gets Rick Hahn upset? And he kind of took a minute, and then he gave his answer. And before I tell you his answer, I got to say, I totally 1000% agree with him. His answer was, what gets me upset is knowing that there's something special going on right now on the South Side, and people are just so used to or so like desperate to complain about something that they can't just enjoy this ride. And I was like, fuck, dude. Like, yes. Like, yes, Rick. Like, yes.
Like I got it like the first month because like I get the whole like the angst
Right.
with LaRussa and like he had like a couple
That was the
like
other one. They
fuck
said,
ups.
do you get mad about the LaRussa criticism? And he admitted, he goes, I don't get mad about it, but I definitely didn't think it was going to be this bad.
and like LaRussa had like some like couple tough moments for him, but like team was winning at this point. Like what could Sox fans possibly be mad about?
I don't get why. I mean, you just gotta, and I understand that we live in this new day and age where social media and everything is at our fingertips, and there's so many different stats, and you can manipulate these numbers to like back your argument however you want to, as we saw very rampant in the Yasmani versus Salvador Perez argument. He was like, whatever side you were arguing, just take this number, twist it a little bit here, and then boom, there you go. But man, when Rick said that, dude, I stopped what I was doing when I was listening to podcasts, and I was just like, I rewound it and listened to it again. I was just like, fuck yeah, Rick. Like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, 100%. And I don't know. He's totally right. I've always been kind of enjoyed it. Like, certain things have pissed me off, but that's just part of being a fan. But yeah, I mean, it was cool to hear him say that. One of the other things that I thought was really interesting was he talked about how he's been trying to get Brian Goodwin on this team for like 4 years. He's like, I know, didn't they draft him? I'm pretty sure they drafted him.
Wait, I'm sorry, I missed it. Who is the name?
Brian Goodwin.
Did the Sox draft?
Hold on,
I don't remember. And Brian Goodwin's been around for a while, I think. Let's see.
Right, but he's been saying like, I thought it was just interesting that he was just like, I've been trying to get Brian Goodwin on this team for so long. He's like, he's just a good player. No, he was drafted by the Nationals.
No, he was. Right here, drafted by Chicago White Sox, 17th round, 2009, and then he was drafted again. So I guess he went back.
Oh, okay.
To try to get him. Yeah.
But yeah, 2009 White Sox in the amateur draft did not sign. The Nationals. He was the 34th pick in the first round. Like, he had the talent, and then, but it was just interesting to hear a little bit behind the curtain of like Hahn being like, yeah, dude, like, he's good. Like, I know it's not like a sexy name, but like Brian Goodwin, and he's been a great fit for this team so far. Oh, we actually got a question from Todd. I don't listen all the time, at least you're honest, but with Sox fleecing the Cubs in the Quintana trade, do you think it's flipped with the Kimbrel trade, especially what he can do in the playoffs?
I think it all hinges on what he does in the playoffs, yeah.
So in this scenario, are you saying that the Cubs got the better deal in the Kimbrel trade? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah. Like, do you think it's flipped depending on what Kimbrel does in the playoffs?
Way too early to say.
Like, no, I'm saying it all hinges on what he does in the play, like what happens in the postseason, because that's why the Sox made the trade.
True, and I mean, Kimbrel's really figured his shit out. I mean, it was a little rough going, but anytime you have a completely new situation where you go from being the man to being part of a crew, like, I mean, I could pull it up right now, but Kimbrel's last couple appearances, he's been absolutely lights out.
What happened last night?
Do you think I stay awake for Oakland games? You're fucking insane.
I think he gave up a couple runs last night.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't see it because it didn't pop up on the highlights or the condensed version. Or I didn't pay attention to who was pitching.
Let's see. He came in. I guess he gave up inherited runners.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah.
Different story. I think Kimbrel's going to be just fine. I'm not too worried about it. But I see what you're saying, though. I get it, Todd. I get what you're saying. And, I mean, a lot.
Well, it depends on what Magical does, too.
Right. And, I mean, dude, gave up a single, run was on Burr. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, there you go.
Love Nathan. Nathan's awesome. Okay, he gave up a single, whatever. It was like the dude in Mortal Kombat when he's like, your soul is mine. And he takes the guy's soul out of his body. I was on Instagram, I think a couple days ago, and Nick Madrigal posted for the first time in a long time. And he was in the weight room and he had all Cubs shirt on.
I saw that picture.
And it was just like something about motivation coming back. I was just like, oh, fuck, it's real.
Uh-oh.
It's the first time it hit me as it was real. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh, fuck. And I'm not going to lie, the first time I see like a highlight or a play with him in playing for the Cubs, it's gonna be pretty rough.
I hope that Nick Madrigal has like the same attitude that Eloy has and just tries to kill the White Sox every time. Because Eloy already in 20 games against the Cubs has I don't even know, fucking stupid numbers. So I need Nicky T strikes to even that out a little bit.
Which I hope nothing but the best for Nick Madrigal. But
I will say this: if Nick Madrigal has a great career with the Cubs, it doesn't matter if the Sox win the World Series and Craig Kimbrel was a big part.
What?
If Nick Madrigal has a great career with the Cubs, a Sox fan, you can't be like, oh, we lost the trade. That doesn't matter if the Sox win the World Series and Craig Kimbrel was a big part in the bullpen.
100%. How's your draft going, Kev? Got a good team?
Draft update.
Just finished.
Oh, okay.
Run down the team.
All right, you ready? All right, let's see what I got. So it's a 10-dude league. 10
your team's stacked.
I don't want to hear your team anymore. All right,
I won the league last year, which it's the big money league. Which
wait, explain it. How did you already have your first 3 round draft picks, or your first
three keepers from last year?
3 keepers, only a 10-team league. Boo! I was wondering, how do you have Chubb and Derrick Henry? I'm like, what?
Well, I would have gotten those 2 guys no matter what last year. The way I drafted, even if it was because I actually drafted 10. So anyway, yeah, it's a 10-team league though. It's been around. We've been doing this for 16, 18 years now. And yeah, I got
2 more players.
Keepers were Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, and Tyreek Hill. So my quarterback is Dak Prescott. My wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, Deontay Johnson. My running backs are Nick Chubb. It's also a double flex, by the way. Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry. Tight end is George Kittle. And I have Kareem Hunt, Debo Samuel, Laviska Shenault, Devin Singletary. I picked up Michael Thomas just as a stole. Darnell Mooney, Giovanni Bernard, Tevin Coleman, and Ty Johnson. So I kind of just bought the Jets. Oh, defense, Tampa Bay, and my kicker's Gay.
How many times have you won this league?
3.
Okay. Who's won it the most? The number of times?
Me.
You? Are you tied with anyone, or you won it just the most? No one else has won it more than twice.
No, ironically, the other 3-time winners, my ex-girlfriend who I taught fantasy football, and she won.
Hey.
She won 2 years in a row.
Caesar just got on base.
There you go.
Yep. And down in Charlotte, Adam Engel just drove in the Golden Knights' first run.
I'll ask you this, though. Adam Engel, Gavin Sheets, who makes the playoff roster?
Bulls. I do that gif of the girl from the taco commercial going, why
not
not both? Yeah. I mean,
why not?
That's how,
okay.
You know how fucked up that is? That's how my brain works.
We're getting gifs.
Was a gif. That's.
I'm not surprised, though.
No, I gif everything, dude. There's these 2 dudes I used to work with, and we have a group chat, and I always in text, just like Twitter, I always put gifs, whatever. And the one guy's like, man, if you can get a doctorate in GIF usage, you would probably be a billionaire right now. You would have some, I'm pretty good with GIFs. Pretty good. But yeah. Sorry, that's how my brain works. Immediately go there's
GIF is most
this is the
relatable.
GIF I would use.
So just as we're clear, because Yahoo loves me, even though you guys make fun of me, I am projected to win the league, go 12-2. Second place is projected to go 9-5. So there we go. Let's go.
Here's another gift. Pretends to be shocked. You mean to sit there and tell me on Al Gore's internet, with a team starting with Chubb and Henry as your running backs, you're projected to win the league?
And then Tyreek Hill as your 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the beauty of keepers, though. When someone's
that's the beauty of a 10-player league.
Tyreek Hill has been my keeper for like 3 years, though.
All right.
So
well,
I drafted Derrick Henry 2 or 3 years ago. So I got Chubb with the 11th pick last year after losing my 10th pick, because I was the last pick. I was the 10th pick in the draft last year. So I got, because Henry was my keeper, my technically my first keeper, but really my second keeper. I was able to get Chubb. So it worked.
By the way, quick shout out to White Sox legend.
I've kept those guys. This is my 3rd year to keep those guys. My bad.
Shout out to White Sox legend Cody Hoyer. 2 more shutout innings for the Cubs.
Good for him. Never heard anything bad about him. Oh, the only thing I don't like about him is the unfouled B-flow.
That's right. That was very sad to hear.
But since we're already in the slap happy part of the show, I got nothing else to do. Kids sleeping.
Should be interesting this weekend to see if there's an emotional weekend with what's going on at Wrigley too. I'm pretty excited about that, actually.
There's
closure.
Wait, let's do an over-under. Kevin, how many home runs does KB hit?
I think he hits 1.
I was gonna say 2.
I think 1. I think he walks like 3 times though, at least, and I think that he might even sit one of the games. Who knows?
Who hits him on accident? Who hits him on accident?
Hoyer.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, they're throwing at KB."
Hendricks. Gonna be he doesn't throw like he hits everything he tries to hit. So.
Oh my God, Kyle Hendricks used to be like shut down. I think
maybe he'll just go. No, it's going to be fun. Just it's closure that he needs to. I think he didn't get the chance to say goodbye. The last game that they played at Wrigley, they both were going to play. They wanted to play. They wanted to get one last, and they didn't give it to him. They didn't let him. So Rizzo didn't get a chance to say goodbye. He got a chance to walk out and say goodbye at least to some of the fans. But Javi played that game. Chris is the only one that really didn't have a chance to get at least a curtain call or at least play in the game and get one last little hurrah. So this will be nice for him. Giants are on fire right now. The NL West is just
Dodgers Giants is fun as hell too. Yeah.
There might be a wild card team that wins 100 games this year.
That's awful. I mean that's awful for that team that ends up as the wild card.
Yeah. So strictly for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, so
Bucks minus 8.5.
Oh, it went up to 8.5?
Yep.
Or was it always 8.5?
It's 8.5 right now.
Well, the Cowboys are going to be out that one offensive lineman, right? Zach Martin. He has COVID. He has the Rona. So, I mean, Zeke, the run game. How's Dak's shoulder? I'll lay the points.
And then we got a 51 and a hook over under. Thursday Night Football, first game of the season. I don't like that over. I think I just lay off it.
Yeah, no play.
Yeah, that's a no play for me. What do you got, Fitz?
Yeah, no play on that.
You just never know what that Tampa. Those opening night games are always kind of a little bit ugly early, but it's Tampa Bay's defense is good too. Thing is, I feel like Dak Prescott wants to come out and just sling it, and there is that potential that if he does come out rearing, he could carry a game. I mean, the Bucks weren't great last year till the end. I mean, the Bears beat them last year for God's sakes, so they've been beatable early in the season as they start ramping it up. And Tom Brady's a ramp up guy too. So I don't know. I hate the Cowboys though. It'd be nice if the Cowboys just lost so that we don't have to deal with like them winning their first 3 games of the season and everyone.
Boys.
We didn't boys. We back.
And even with the big spread, like obviously I think the Tampa Bay is going to win. Like it's going to be minus 8.5. I think they're going to cover. It's going to be a blowout. But even with that, and talking about like the total, you can always get fucked by just a garbage touchdown at the end.
I'd say inside of 8, I take the Cowboys. Outside of 8, I take.
You know what? I'm changing it. Whatever the first half is, give me the first half spread for Tampa Bay.
Let me go to points bet.
So is it like -5 maybe?
Using promo code Pinwheels. That's still a thing. And let me see what we like here.
First half. I think you know what? Yeah, no, give me the first half. Home game.
Damn it.
It's gonna be a home game for Tampa. fans are all there. It's gonna be a full house, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, right. Everything's open now. Yeah.
It's Florida, dude. Florida never closed.
Yeah, and then Cowboys are gonna be without one of the good offensive linemen. Yeah, give me Tampa. Tampa first half, whatever it is.
Let me see. I'll get you in 2 seconds here. First half,
-5.
4 and a hook.
Do it. Love it. I actually love it. Love it.
And the over-under's at 25 and a hook.
Staying away from that, but give me Tampa Bay -4.5.
I think this might be the new closing segment since we're doing Wednesday night shows
On Wednesday,
now.
yeah, just do Thursday.
Yeah,
We could do.
Thursday night game.
We can close it out because
Let's keep track of them. Then. So, what is your pick on?
What's your pick, Zoe? Yeah,
It's
your
Cowboys
official
plus
Thursday
right?
night pick.
I really like the Tampa first half bet. I'm going to snipe that from you, bud.
Oh my God!
Yep, you gave me first dibs. I like Tampa first half, and then, I mean, since there's no real money on it, I'll just say Tampa money line.
All right, Kevin, what's your official lock?
Cowboys +8.
All right, I'm gonna go
charity touchdown to make it a 7-point game.
Now we're
in
cooking.
2 minutes, and so the 1 point it makes a huge difference.
Well, I was gonna do a prop first touchdown, Chris Godwin.
Ooh,
I like that. I go over Brady 2.5 touchdown passes. I think he gets at least 3.
I think he gets 2, and then there's a couple.
I think
Touchdown.
I think he gets 2, and then he throws it to Gronk, and he goes out of bounds at the 1 yard line and says, "Fuck Bill Miller," and then they run it in. Sorry, Bill. You know I love you, bud.
is there a sneaky bet for Gio Bernard to score a touchdown? What are the odds on that? I feel like he might get a third down stretch run, like a.
He's not on the Bengals.
Hmm?
He's on. I didn't know he was.
He's on the Bucks. Yeah,
On the Bucks, baby. He's their third down back.
He's not even showing up on these prop bets.
Oh, and by the way, yes, I will also take Tampa Bay -4.5 first half.
Let's see what we got.
No, Zoe stole my pick.
I totally stole your pick because
And the
it's just such a good. It's a good pick.
Cody here with the win. Cubs beat the Reds 4-1. They just keep going.
Oh, hit a walk-off home run. Because it was 1-1.
Is this first touchdown? Yeah, this is first touchdown. Anytime touchdown score.
Yeah, walk-off 3-run, Jack. It looks like, and it was hit.
Jason Hayward. All right.
Hey.
Earning that paycheck.
Gio Bernard is plus 375 to score a touchdown.
That's actually, I thought the odds would be lower than that.
Well, I mean, Tampa Bay's defense is plus 380, so it's basically the same thing. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what's a pick six?
All right, so let's end. So we can end every Wednesday show now with our Thursday night pick, and then we have to do the Bears.
We got to keep track of it too.
Oh, the Bears. Yeah, we got.
So okay, so I'm not gonna give you any of my secrets.
I do.
Are you doing fair spread?
I'm literally putting in that first half bet. We can both bet on it, although.
No, I am. I'm just. I want the credit.
So
but if it doesn't hit, blame Zoe, not me.
That's fine. I'll wear it.
for everyone listening, Thursday morning, if you guys still listening, if it doesn't work, it's Zoe's fault.
For the 8 people watching right now. So the Bears are getting 7.5.
They're getting less than the Cowboys are.
Yeah. I'm going to give.
What's the total?
46.5. I'm going
I
to.
think that's ugly. I think
Sunday night prime time. Al Michaels.
I say Rams by 10, so I take Rams minus.
I'll take the Rams -4 for the first half, and then I will also take. Where's it at? Rams defense at 350 to score a touchdown.
Oh God damn it!
Yeah, I got Rams -7.5 for the game. And what are the odds for a touchdown catch from Jimmy Graham?
Here's my official pick. Here we go.
Short dump.
Here we go.
2-yard touchdown catch.
First half under total, whatever the total is under first half. So it's probably 20, 27.
Well, then I'll tell you in a minute. I got to keep scrolling to find a Jimmy Graham touchdown. Jimmy Graham is at plus 400 to score a touchdown.
Ooh,
I'll take that. That's good. That works.
And then as far as
first half total,
like
23, maybe 23.5,
22.5.
Oh shit! I'll still do under.
I think that's fair.
So there we go. Everybody keep track.
My I see Fizz writing it down. My
Okay.
Sunday night betting is heavily dependent on how I do during the day. I
All
tend
right,
to try to dig up.
So Aldo, what was yours again? So Aldo, you took.
So I have Tampa Bay first half -4.5, and then Bears Rams first half under total 22.5. Lock it in, everyone. Parlay it.
22.5, and then all right. So that's what you got. And do you have any of your props? Did you have any props? Who you thought was going to score?
If there is a prop out there,
Are you counting those, or is that just for fun?
You can
That's
keep,
for-
if you want.
I
That
made
might
this
get a
prop.
little tedious, but you can keep trying.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I made this prop bet with my friend in the morning. Prop bet whatever the over is for the snaps that Justin Fields get over. He gets in the second half.
Yeah. You think?
All right. So you are
Maybe because Andy Dalton gets decapitated, but I think
I'm,
Justin Fields gets in.
Tampa Bay
Bucks,
first half, right?
Bucks laying the points first half, and Rams laying the points first half. And then Rams defense to score a touchdown. But we're not doing props.
What was the first half of the Rams?
4.
Okay, I've got that written down. It is now permanent. It's in ink. I didn't use a pencil.
Yeah.
Maybe electric pencil.
So I mean, yeah, I like that. We can end the show with that. That's good stuff. Good stuff. And we won't tell anybody about it, so they just have to find it
Yeah.
for the people that listen.
Let the record show I'm rooting for the Bears to win, just I'm betting logically.
Right.
So it's a win-win. If the Bears cover, I think the Bears must have played well.
My wife always says, she's like, how can you bet against the Bears? Well, I want the Bears to win, but I want my money to be plentiful.
Hedge your joy, hedge your happiness. You know,
Yeah.
Bears lose, you win.
No, see, that's one of those cases where if I have a bet and it's against the Bears, and if the Bears win, that's why I can't ever bet a Bears game. Because
Well, that's
even if I
why-
bet against them and they win, I'll be mad the bet lost.
100%. This is why Dallas
I-
Keuchel only has given up one run because I took Oakland team over tonight.
I mean, you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mad. So.
If you really want to bet against someone, always bet against UNLV football. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay.
It's money
Insider
in the bank
tip?
every time. It's like betting on.
I
New
heard that
Mexico.
they haven't been able to practice, right, because of the wildfires.
No, they've been practicing.
Oh, or was that just last week?
That
And
was
that's-
when they were up in Reno. They had
Okay.
like camp or something like that up north, I think.
That is one of the things, though, especially these days now, you really got to pay attention to, like, oh, this guy, their starting left guard hasn't practiced all week because he's had COVID. Like, you got to, like, you know what I mean? And then it's like New Orleans. They can't play any of these college teams in the Louisiana area. They can't play any of their home games. Right now
I mean,
'cause they have
speaking
no
of
power.
colleges and things that pointing out about betting, Zoe, I saw that you weren't a fan of the Iowa State jerseys, the black and white.
Not a fan.
At home, they're playing Iowa, right?
Yep.
However, I was looking down in your mentions. Now, I agree. If at first, I whenever they first like made this uniform, I would be right there with you, Zoe. Be like, why are you wearing the black and white? Give me some flair.
I didn't
Give
know
me
the
some
record.
red.
I didn't know the
However,
record.
exactly. However, it's too late now. They're 8-0. They have to wear them. They're 8-0.
Right.
Even as bad as they are, they have to wear them.
No, I didn't know that either. I'm obviously not a big Iowa State or Iowa guy for that matter, but no idea that they were 8-0 wearing those black and whites. But I just thought this is the first time those two teams have ever played each other where they're both ranked. It's the national spotlight game of the week. You have a cool color scheme in the red and yellow. Like it's unique. It's cool. Like really showcase that. And you're going to show up wearing black and white when your opponent wears black and gold.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I
agree with
just-
no, I
yeah.
100% agree. But then
Oh.
8-0.
Caesar with the error.
Oh no.
By the way, UNLV. So take Arizona State
I don't know if
minus
it's gonna be
33
hard.
this weekend. Arizona State minus 33 against UNLV. This
Arizona State's minus 33?
You think you still put money on Arizona State?
absolutely. I'm going to make
I
sure.
did-
I
I
will
am
put down. I'm going to be at. I have a Gary Clark Jr. concert at Virgin Hotel Saturday night. I'll be watching the beginning of the game before I go to the. I'll be laying down a bet at the hotel, so when I come out from the concert, I can collect my money.
No free ads, but if there are any Arizona listeners, I'm not going to give out the sports book, but sports betting launches on Thursday in Arizona. There's a sports book that is giving out you're going to get matched a free bet for every point that every Arizona team plays this weekend, or every Arizona point that they scored this weekend. That includes all the teams.
Sounds like
That
a good
includes
weekend
Arizona
for you.
State minus 33.5, apparently.
Sounds like a good weekend.
So that's a great. Just find it. No free ads. Google it.
UNLV just lost in overtime to an FBS team. So Arizona State's.
All right.
Interesting. And then also, I'd like to, in front of our audience, say, Fids, if you get any more of those locks that you hear about on the streets of Vegas,
Yeah.
feel free to text them to me like you did last year. That basketball one basically paid off my car last year. So, yeah, do that one again. Yep.
We'll get him.
All right. We'll call that the show.
But by the way, everyone gamble responsibly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You guys are going to have that. You can actually, I don't know if you guys can do that. You can load your money. You don't have to go into a casino to load your money, do you? In Illinois?
Oh, well, yeah, you do. You have to. Well, you have to go
Sign up.
You don't have to go in the casino either. You just have to be like within like a mile radius of. Like,
It's so stupid.
PointsBet has like 4 locations you can do it at.
Yeah.
And use promo code Pinwheels. But
that's the worst when you're drinking and you're like, I'll just throw another. Let me just load a couple more bucks on the card. You're like, wake up the next morning and you're like, shit.
Something cool though that PointsBet did just come out with is you can like set like a timer almost like and a limit. So when your drunk ass wants to bet at fucking 8 o'clock and you're like, fuck yeah, Rams -4, $500. They'll be like, nope.
When you're chasing that Saturday night Hawaii game after a tough afternoon slate.
I'll never speak bad about that. That has gotten me out of so many jams back in the day. I've never speak bad about that Hawaii game. Fucking Cole Brennan was rest in peace, King.
There you go, Manny. May I just take all the picks? Parlay them, Manny.
Yeah. Hey, when we pay your mortgage this week, and when we don't,
buy just hop on our link that we have on our Twitter and buy us a case of beer if you win using our advice.
That's such a great. That's probably the best idea you've come up with on the show because that's fucking beautiful.
Or just someone send. We need bottles of Malort here on the West Coast.
Oh, Vladdy
I need a
Jr.
Malort help.
Vladdy Jr. just pissed all over a Chapman fastball. Yeah,
that was a clap, not anything else for the people.
Yeah. 96 miles an hour. He just fucking destroyed it.
Not a
decent.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hopefully we do. I'm gonna bet all these picks. They're not gonna be big bets, but I'm gonna bet them, and hopefully we win some money. For Fids, I'm Zoe, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.